Y grabando. Otra Recurrencias Conversation. La primera fue con Manny, hoy estoy con the artist behind the artwork del cover y the inside of the book. He is a comic who draws comics. Christian Lee Villanueva, ¿cómo estamos?
Hola, eh, estamos a pesar de la existencia de este año.
Estamos vivos. So, dude, para la gente que no sepa, first off, your social media y todo eso.
Dale, gracias. Pues sí, mi social media Pixelate for Work. Eso me pueden encontrar con ese handle en Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etcétera. En cualquier sitio que existe, ese va a ser mi monitor.
Perfect. But mano, let's get right to it. So first, we had collaborated in the past. Este año ya hemos colaborado con. You had done the cover art for Fanatic. Y en el pasado, pues, you had done. ¿Sabes? Hemos colaborado con otros books too. Y además y también en los open mics de Vox Populi, que tú a cada rato le caías to do stand up or poetry. So, te pregunto, when it came to this book, y viste, te presenté por lo menos like what I was looking for, y te presentamos los temas del book. Was it a challenge to capture like los momentos que te presenté y lo que presenta el libro? Y después de eso, if you can answer, was it a difficult process when you did the cover art, which is completely different compared to the art inside of the book?
Yeah, okay. So it's challenging, and I mean that as a really big virtue, porque siempre que, oh boy, Sam's at it again, ¿cuál va a ser el mood de este libro? Like, especialmente después de Fanatic, like that was a oof, like, how are we gonna make something fresh and exciting after that one? Pero it was really fun. First of all, ayudó el tener los interiores ayudó un montón, porque ya los interiores y los títulos y los temas que tienen ya pintan un mosaico del viaje que va a ser leer el libro, y ese sentido de hacer un journey ayudó un montón en el cover. So mutuamente el exterior y el interior, a pesar del clash que tienen visual, son una entidad simbiótica. El cover estuvo interesante hacer, porque ya pues me has tirado algo que haga tributo a los juegos de Game Boy, por ejemplo, como un Pokémon o Mario o algunos RPGs que tienen ese mundo que lo puedes ver desde arriba. So, eso en conjunción con el space en el que estaba de búsqueda, que era hacer unas acuarelas digitales, algo que sería un poco suavecito, un poquito, ¿sabes?, fácil de acceder. Y sí, entonces el interior, pues ahí fue que se fiesta con los inks. So, me agradó un montón el poder usar el cover para una destreza en particular y tratar de hablar las cosas un chispito y hacerlas de real, mientras que adentro todo pinta súper empacado, súper detalle. So, a mí me parece por lo menos como la transición entre verlo de lejito y verlo mucho más contenido en estos bolsillitos que son los icons en la portada de todos los locales. So, cada icon en la portada que no es el FEN, pues es referencia a diferentes capítulos. So, por ejemplo, justo justo a la izquierda está la icon, es como un hamburger, pero entonces si va el capítulo que el fast food Pardue, pues hay de repente un zoom casi grotesco de esta comida super grasosa, y ahí sí que y entonces ahí es bien gratuito el nivel de cosas que puede poner. Por ejemplo, comida china. Entonces, siempre que tengo la oportunidad de dibujar comida, yo lo uso para poder empujar mi propaganda de comida china rican, que me hace tanta falta acá. Siempre que hablamos de comida china aquí, yo rápido empiezo que esto no probar comida china por Puerto Rico. Usted ni supieron lo que es un tostón. Y el trabajar de capítulo en capítulo, ya que de repente es bien específico el enfoque, entre pensar la temática y sobre todo la iconografía que usa en los poemas es bien específica, en el sentido de que cualquier persona que no lee, vamos a suponer que alguien lee el Barbershop Chronicles y ya dentro lo lee, puede oler esa de la barbería, que es bien lindo, pero es bien particular, con todos los posts y los recortes que ni siquiera ofrecen. So, ese tipo de cosas me puso en el espacio de, okay, ¿cómo se siente sentarse en una fila de esa? ¿Cuál es el procedimiento cuando te recortan, te dan te ponen los espejos? Y lo que fue día en la plaza, ya en la plaza en particular pega bien duro porque ya pues es que afuera es ilegal. And lo que era toda la gente reunirse en la plaza, el circo local que estaba súper encendido el año pasado, cuando en verdad no hace un montón de falta, y lo que era beberse un cafecito, que era un lujo de un tiempo ancestral. El proceso tiene un elemento de contemplación y de meditación sobre los diferentes bolsillos de lo que hacemos en nuestras vidas o solíamos hacer. So, noches de jangueo, por ejemplo, cada persona que lo ve me dice, eso, yo reconozco esa esquina, eso es de, si quieren que mencione bolsito, que paguen por pauta. So, I don't know. I think this is coming at the right point for people to really look back on a decade of all the things that we used to do, whether it be something kind of a chore or something that you did for fun or something that you didn't even think about. So that element is there, and the fact that the cover alludes to it like a game also helps compartmentalize a lot of the elements of it, and the questing, the journey that I love these little things are. Because even, for instance, vámonos de shopping again, I just remember all the noise and all the distractions and how overwhelming the crowd was. But it's sort of okay, because that's sort of what a mall is supposed to be like. Unfortunately, like it's one of the little cheap places that we have. That it's okay for things to be claustrophobic, but now it's a little chaotic to even go to the mall. Like that's a political choice to not just order something online.
Yeah. Mano, me encantó cuando, like, en la primera conversación le hablé con Manny como que, por lo menos yo, on the schedule, yo tenía planeado que este iba a ser the final book del año. Pero dado las circunstancias del COVID y todo, es como que the book now has like a bigger purpose, en el sentido de remembering cuando podíamos hacer esto y lo otro, what have you. Que me gusta que lo menciona. Te voy a preguntar, since you're the man, the person, the creator of the artwork, te pregunto, is there one baby that you prefer above the others?
The creator! Is there one baby that I prefer over the other? I guess it depends on the mood, because they all really hit a different itch for me. I would have to narrow it down, because depending on what we're focusing on, because I do love Barbershop Chronicles, how it came out as a portrait. I really like a lot of the composition elements that I incorporated in it, and it's kind of it's easy to read, and it has the same, like, visually it has the same gloss that I associate with the smell of the place. But I also have a soft spot for Días en la Plaza. But Noches de Jangueo just hits really hard for me, because I just miss the shows and walking out of a Ciego show all fatigued. Sorry, Young, for leaving your drums and all bloody. That's on me. Plus, I like that in Noches de Jangueo, I had an excuse to just draw punks all messed up and smoking, which is a weird choice, because I don't smoke cigarettes myself, but nevertheless, I guess somewhere between Noches de Jangueo, La Plaza, and Barbershop Chronicles, which doesn't narrow it down that much, but I really like those. But then Vamos the Shopping again. It's just also the thing that I like about that is that there's a lot of elements interacting with one another, and that's something that I find really interesting to just sort of. I like reading the illustration for Vamos the Shopping again as just like a sequence of events. So I like reading it like a little story of consumerism. Plus I got to draw some posters in the background, which I'm upset, because the posters in that version, the El Love Shack that I drew, I'm just like, where was this? Where are these cool logos and posters when I want them? And now that I'm just drawing like a little square in the background, they're coming out nice. It's nonsense. So I guess it depends what day of the week you ask me, and I'll point you to a different one of these.
Ya te entiendo. En verdad que, for me, Noches de Jangueo y Día en la Plaza es the same situation, en el sentido como que it just brings back all those memories de ir a Friends, o ir a ver el Circo a la Plaza, o ir a ver los shows, o ir a recitar poesía, what have you. En verdad que lo captura bien cabrón, those two artworks in specific. Y también the little details que pusiste en cada esquina de cada uno, it's just amazing. Were you surprised cuando te mencioné que la influencia behind the cover art per se? Was that like, cuando te dije la influencia, was that like an exciting thing or what?
Good question. Depends. Surprised, like, as far as the inspiration, it's a very like, yes. Like, of course, like, Fan and I both come from this old video game background. Of course, it's the inspiration, right? That's great. But surprised because I don't do pixel art. You know, like, contrary to popular. First of all, terrible choice of a moniker. I just thought it was a pun about a poor work ethic, which just makes it twice as bad. But it was interesting because like, okay, we can get there. This can be done, right? Like art is one of those things that people say it's the hardest thing, and you need to have a talent because people don't want to face the fact that it's a skill, which means that it can be learned. That's why it's hard. You have to put in the effort. So I just sort of sat down with what's my process, and what's the goal that we're going for, and where do we meet those in the middle. And I worked from there. So I knew that I wouldn't be doing pixel art per se, but it would be very apparent that's where we're heading for, like as far as the representation of a map. And I went the digital watercolor route. It's much of a contradiction as that sounds, I realize, but my approach was drawing it, having something organic about the line quality too. Right? Having it have that sort of fuzzy, almost like it's on parchment situation. But then to contrast it, that's why I went with the monochrome icons and have them be more static, if anything, to help them sort of float above the map itself. Plus, of course, I figured we're in an island. I'm not going to fit the whole island, especially if it's a wraparound. So I just sort of went to, okay, we're on the West Coast. That's perfect, because then it could just be the edge of the West Coast where we're at, and then just off of that edge, the ocean. So that already helped me a lot with the placement, and the rest was just sort of applying a different technique to a well-known layout, which is that aspect of the hey, fly me to hey, magic animal who can fly and breathe fire, fly me to this town so I can have a dogfight with my rival for some money. So get over with, the game. Just please don't cease and desist us. So I guess when the project seems like it might not be up your alley, if you could just think it through instead of just bailing on the first 5 minutes. Oh, don't do that. It can lead to a lot of wonderful stuff. I'm really proud of how this cover came out, despite my initial apprehension of I don't do pixel art. What will they say?
Te pregunto, I gave you some reference images de algunos juegos en some RPGs, pero were there some that came to mind that helped you in the process?
Sort of, yeah. Okay. I looked at your reference as your reference, so then I went down the image search rabbit hole of these are some games to get us started. What are other games that I know that have similar sort of like stage selection? And I just looked at a few and just sort of started like composing in my head how I was gonna mimic some of those things. So, for instance, having a map in Pokemon versus having a map in one of the Mario games where there's a lot more curves and things are just popping up a little more, and it's almost like a pop-up storybook situation. So I just looked at a few of these iterations to see what are some of the common elements. Oh, okay, there's tiles, there's paths, there's little icons to let you know what's going on inside. And once I just had that mental list of these are the elements themselves in the abstract without just copy-pasting their iteration of it, then it just became an issue of translating it. So, for instance, I'm just going to make these little tiles so that there's like a buffer between the icons so that they're not just floating. Okay, great. That's cool. And then, then the tiles of the places themselves are the chapters, of course. And because everything just happens to have such a clear theme, that made it so easy to know what to do to the shorthand for everything. Like, barbershop chronicle, that barbershop pole, done. Movies, popcorn, boom, what else you got? Beer, sponsor us, then we'll get specific. fast food burger. So a lot of the resources of just the book itself, because it has at the time to place such a visual. It helped like color in like how are we going to interpret these particular these particular I guess assets for building this map of this game that has not come out yet. I mean, I guess the book is the game. You have to install the game into your brain. So keep reading, kids.
De hecho, it would be pretty fun to whoever listens to this, if you're a game designer, do a beat 'em up or an RPG utilizando the cover as an inspiration.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fun. Pretty fun. Mano, comparing, ya ahorita lo hablamos un poquito, pero comparing the experience behind Fanatic and this art, was it more difficult? Was it easier? ¿Cómo fue la transición, I guess, between one artwork and the other?
It was different, for sure. So Fanatic already was. God, it was like getting candy because you're telling me to what? You're telling me I don't have to get underhanded and sneak in just me wilding out for myself. You're telling me to wild out on doing things I already do. So that it was a very very indulging sort of process. Very a lot of work went into it though, because like now I have to compose and just cram all these things that we both really enjoy. But it really met me on my side of the fence as far as the type of illustration and leaning a little more toward comic booky, but also movie posters. Which shout out if anyone wants posters or album covers or anything, hit me up. But this really hit a lot of those sensibilities. Like even I think one of the hardest parts of Fanatic may have been just saying, here's the color according to like some of the source material. Now here's 5 other palettes. But then this one I appreciate that it took me a little further out, because suddenly it's not more about about what I would just get up and draw every day and get all heavy inks and comic booky about it. So this one required for me to stop and really make the journey towards the direction that this book wants. So it was a nice reinforcement of I can do it. It's it just requires it just requires for you to research, put in the time and actually compose something without doing it so much on autopilot, for lack of a better term. So it was really fun and it really made me think about choices that I'm not usually making, in the sense of making a little map like this. Although I will say I do play a lot of tabletop games, so that means that Dungeons and Dragons and other games have a lot of maps of this sort. So I feel that maybe I drew a little bit from that as well, especially in some of the ways that the forest and things like that are being rendered on the Recurrencias cover. But yeah, it just took me a little further out from what I would do every Tuesday, let's say. So it was really fun for somewhat different reasons, especially because it has to be a little more open and readable with the elements going on in Recurrencias, being more inviting and less like, your senses are on 11! Sand is coming out of the water! So it was really nice to think on those terms, but it was fun, and I will cherish doing this sort of this sort of challenge. And I know that you'll remember on the first exchanges of like, hey, here's my idea for Recurrencias, Chris. What do you think? And I just went like, that sticks alive. Listen, I'm know it's my fault you think I do that, but it was an interesting journey, especially when it came into the lettering, because I typography isn't my strong suit, but this also required me to go and look at that typography for games or just things that are sort of pixely, because it's so easy to overdo it by having just like a million pop out layers or all these crazy effects, but scaling it back down a little bit really helped, like, make me aware of the economy of like visuals when it comes to typography, especially something that really fits this. I think the craziest thing that I got away with here may be that sort of health bar where your name is, but one of the older iterations, which was I wonder if this should have more effects behind the title Recurrencias ? And I put in these blocks with these cutouts, and the blocks were blue, red, and yellow, and it kind of looked like the opening titles to like Sonic Heroes or something. Like it had a lot of noise going on in that sense, but a learning experience, especially because since I'm not at home. My setup is a little different, so it also let me explore like the tools of my new setup a little bit and what I can do with that. So I also got to learn the things that I already use, which as a result, I'm now lettering things, like I'm lettering comics on my iPad as well at the time being, and this was a big stepping stone of, oh, I can do what now? Oh, that's cool. Oh, I can import these fonts on here. Oh, I see. That's gonna help my process be expedited way quicker. So I walked away with that as well.
Super nice, super nice. Yeah, so a la misma vez you gain some experience points in other fields, por ponerlo así.
Nicely put, yes. We out here grinding.
Exacto. Te voy a hacer una pregunta related to the next cover que hiciste, pero we'll leave that for the future. Pero for now, you continue doing daily post-punk. And what else are you doing, man? ¿Qué otra cosa estás haciendo on your own or for other people?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so so I was doing the daily post-punk, and I think we got somewhere close to 400. So like, okay, that already broke. Like, if we include the ones that started last year, okay, I did a year of it. That's cool. I currently I put that up on the shelf for now because I stopped doing it when I thought I was leaving this place. Because so for some context for our listeners, I'm currently in North Carolina in a museum called Elsewhere, which is a 3-story building. It used to be a thrift store from 1939 to 1997, I believe. Then when the owner passed, then in 2003 it got opened as a residence for artists, right? And now all the things from the thrift store collection stay here. So I'm living in a Christian museum, and I love it so much. But I thought I was leaving, so I stopped dailies for a bit when I was packing. But thankfully, like I guess a week before that, my fellowship got extended, so I'm going to be over here working on museum things and some activities. And just a bunch of projects here as far as renovations until the end of February, right? So I put a break on some little things to focus on that a bit more. But outside of that, I've been drawing a lot. I got a little stand so that I can draw in a good position, right? And that worked out because now I can draw much more comfortably. So much so that I am now wearing a wrist brace because I've been drawing way too much. I signed up for 3 Secret Santas, one of which being sort of a comics duet. So I've been... the Secret Santa art trade went from friendly to competitive real quick. So once I'm done with all those goodies on the tail end of this year, my plans for the next year are I think building a new site because I wanna do some submissions of stuff, but you can't really submit something if you don't have like a website, I guess. So there's a lot of just like things to pave the way to reaching out for opportunities in the first place. I'm gonna. I have some scripts ready to get back to work on. Please Stand By, a cyber post-punk shit comic on tapas.io. You can check it out. You can check out some posts of it on my Instagram. I uploaded. I did a few pages not too long ago, but the coming ones are currently being inked. Flatting for coloring comics is such a long process, but yeah, I'm just sort of working on comics and a lot of internal stuff is both my opportunities here as a resident and collaborator of this museum, as well as where I'm going to push to make comics in the future, and it's really made me reconsider my time and what I invested in. So I'm trying to focus on telling the stories that I want that I want to tell once I, with the time that I have. So I guess just keep an eye out for that sort of thing. Also keep an eye out in the coming months for open commissions open back up once I'm writing the chaos out of this. This has been a really busy week because aside from the work in the museum, we made a pillow. We made like a pillow / sheet fort indoors, and that was a lot of fun and a lot of work. And then performing during this event, and oh boy, the boss is watching. I hope I don't get fired. So looking at some jokes like I can't say that it's corporate. It's being recorded. But yeah, no, just drawing, writing, and making comics, and little projects like that, and some just building some of the things on the behind the curtain. There's some work to be done, but hey, my comics are free to read, so that's always a goodie that you don't have to worry about the snake oil salesman for the pitch. But yeah, that's about it. Follow me at Fixoid for work anywhere, and look up Please Stand By on tapas.io. Also, earlier this year, I finished a webcomic called Here Be Dragons on Webtoons, which is just like a 5-part story of just friends who play D&D. Sorry, not D&D. Just miscellaneous tabletop game. Don't sue me, please. They play miscellaneous tabletop game, and they just sort of, have to deal with a lot of their own issues, whether it be irresponsible or bullshit crushes that tear the table apart, or other minutiae of it. It was just a lot of fun to be able to indulge in storytelling and my favorite hobby. So, there's something there for everyone, I guess.
Super nice, man. I was gonna ask you your social media, but you just gave it away, so perfect.
I gave away the ending. Oh no, we're gonna have to restart this.
Anything else you'd like to mention?
I'd like to everyone who's made it this far to I'm giving you all a water check. Please stay hydrated. That includes you, fan. If I catch you without a glass of water, I'm swimming back to Puerto Rico with a bottle. No, I guess that's it. Just follow me on socials. Hit me up. I'm always super up for collaborating when it comes to posters, album art, and some merch. If you're a writer or a band, any sort of musician, I am especially looking to have that fusion going on. So yeah, plus any other questions, inquiries, or curiosities are always welcome. So even if it's something like a question on how do you draw nails like that, and anything at all really lines up. And also comedy, even though it's a little tricky right now, right? But also writing jokes. Although it's weird because I can't really workshop them. So a lot of them, I know they're funny to me, but I don't think the general populace is going to understand what a dryad is. So how do I shift this lore? How do I get on stage and tell everyone how elves are cool, but all elves are super problematic for really political reasons that I'm not going to get into right now? But yeah, it's a tough time to really bridge a lot of that communication. But the best you can all do is write and draw and document and just commit your work to it existing on something outside of your mind. I'm telling everyone right now, one of the best habits you can form is to have a notepad like just ready on your phone at all times whenever you think of something. But yeah, I think that's it. Kicking it over to you, son.
Thank you, man. Thank you. En verdad que awesome advice. People should drink water always. Y mano, thank you as always for saying yes to the project. The cover y los interiores como tal, o sea, a lot of work que quedó super cabrón en verdad.
So thanks. I had such a blast working on them. And yeah, and the back and forth, and I'm really glad that we actually that we're on the same page, or at least the same book when we're collaborating, because I understand that it's hard for people who are asked for a bunch of edits, sometimes without direction. My heart goes out to all the editors that just have to deal with that. So I'm in a very fortunate position in these collaborations, and I can't wait for our update with the next thing that's coming out.
Obligado. His name is Christian Lee Villanueva. Pixelate for work in Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Recurrencias Conversations Part 2. Dude, thanks once again, Jeans.
You got it, Jeans. Keep following that Proto. Don't let your memes be dreams. Wu-Tang forever. Keep water in hand and Recurrencias in the other.
Amazing.